Go. All right, welcome everybody to another late edition. Sorry, guys, it has just been super busy. Uh, just been super crazy. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the real world. Um, you know, people getting old, like the vamp here, and some people just get to that age where they're getting close to the finding out what's on the next side. So we got a grandma who's right there, 98, still doing good, and she's close. So, anyways, it's been a long day, and I want to just kind of let's jump into some TA here real quick. Okay, so this is kind of one of the latest charts I posted right here in the members area. Long scalp, short scalp, support chart. Right, and this isn't the pattern I wanted to go over. This is just a really quick setup chart. Pretty easy. We did look at this. Sorry, I got sent as rubles. So it was rubles is like 3 million bucks. I just wanted to make sure. So it was 100 million rubles, which doesn't make any sense. All right, so there's that. So this is the chart I want to go over with you right here. Okay, so this is really what I want the main theme of this really quick show to be about. Okay, so this is a pretty easy pattern right here. All right, I want everybody, if you can go and set up your MACD chart. Right, this is a MACD chart. Okay, and this is kind of how I have this. I have this set up. So I have the this is my MACD, but I have the RSI. So what you have to do is you have to load RSI. Here's your RSI right here, right? There's your RSI chart, right? So you got to have RSI on here. I load RSI, and then what I do is I add the MACD, right? Then once you add MACD, you go over here, right? You can go into, oh, sorry, get off there. You can go into here, and you go into inputs, and you select the source, right? Now you can't find the source RSI unless the source RSI is already one of your indicators, right? So this is how you get this indicator right here, right? So this is a super important indicator that you should all have set up for your trading right now, okay? And this is a really easy pattern I want you guys to show y'all, okay? This is a super easy pattern, and let's do this. I'm going to do this on a brand new chart so that we can see this. Really simple, okay? Not this one. Here we go. We're going to set up this one. So you just go here, there, add RSI, add MACD. Okay, then you go to MACD, inputs right here, RSI. Okay, now this changes this. Then we're going to go. All right, then we're going to bring this up just like this. Okay, now this is pretty easy to take a look at. This is a pretty easy chart to find. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to find a couple boxes. We're going to put some boxes on things. Here's a box. Here's a box. Box here. Box here. Right, a lot of easy boxes. Box here. I'm going to get rid of my histogram. Let me get rid of my histogram here. Boom. There we go. Or we'll just darken it up is what we'll do. We'll make it really dark. Whoop. It's not dark. There we go. Okay. And okay. So what I'm going to do is we're actually going to do it like this. Okay, come here. Where you at? There we go. Okay, and then this one is green. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you that all these boxes have in common is, or don't have in common, right, is a couple things. So we're going to bring our price action up. We're going to shoot this down. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. All right. Turn off our volume. All right, so now we're going to make the same boxes up here. I'm going to line this up there. Try to line that up correctly, okay? Okay, is it green? Green. Okay, we don't know. All right. Green. Sorry, that's yellow. Okay, then this one is green. Okay. So now that, forgot one more. Where's it at? And green. Okay, so now we do not know what color this box is, so we're just going to leave this box like orange, okay? So we don't know what color this is. Okay, so let me show you what the pattern is on all of these, right? Now you can see this green falls. I should have done it red and green, okay? So this yellow, right here, yellow, is bullish, right? Yellows are all bullish, right? Greens are bearish, right? So these greens are all bear, the yellows are all bull. And I'm going to show you a very simple pattern that's playing out right now that all you got to do is you just come over here and you grab just a trend line right there, right, and there, and there, there. We're going to scoot that down a little bit. Okay. Now this one never. And where else are we at here? Okay. Let me just confirm this real quick here. Okay, sorry, yellow. This is actually yellow. Okay, yellow. All right, and yep. Okay, this is actually yellow right there. This one is yellow. All right, so what we're seeing here is we see a pattern that's playing out, right? And what we're looking for is you can see every single time we do one of these little J hooks, right? And I talked about this the other day in one of my shows a couple days ago, right? And let me find my little brush. So you see this little hook. So you make this hook right here, right? So these all make a hook. It's just like a fishing hook, right? So we make this little hook. All of them do it, right? Some a little more than others, right? So there's your hook. There's your hook. Here's your hook. Okay? So you get the point. You make all of these make a little J hook. Look, here's a hook, right? Here's a hook. Okay? And they all make this J hook. Now what's critical to look at is when you get down inside and you take a look at this pattern that plays out every time, what you're looking for is on the bullish moves, and this was a really good example. We're going to really zoom into, oh, come on, get over there. We're going to zoom in to this box right here. Right, this box right here is a really good example. So look at this, came down. If the bottom of the hook right here is not broken, right? If the bottom of this hook of the comeback of the J is not broken, so you can see here's our bottom of our hook right here, right? So we have the bottom of our hook is right there, right? That's it. So if the bottom of this hook is rejected, and this is our support line, what we expect to see is bullish action, right? We're going to expect to see bullish action out of this, okay? And it's every time. So look, here's our hook. There's our line. Our line was broken. So once the line gets broken right here, and what you're looking for is you just draw this line, you come over, you set your alarm right above it, just set your alarm, boom, and that's it. And now you have your alarm, and if you want to get really tricky, you can get in here and you can add a couple of them, you know what I'm saying? You can really zoom into this, right? Just get way down in here. I'm going to try to make that as flat as possible, right? And you can set, it's like 2 alarms if it gets close, you know what I'm saying? So there you go. So now we have 2 alarms. What we're watching for is we're watching for this to come down and break this line. Now you got to remember the problem with MACD is it can leave a shadow, right? So there's no shadow. So look at this. It's actually the line is physically moving up and down, and it doesn't have a shadow. It doesn't show you that it's been lower. So what we're looking for is for this line to come all the way down here and to penetrate this. And if you look what happens a lot of times when it gets down here, it does meet resistance. You know, it meets a substantial little resistance point. And you can kind of go back and dig into your chart and you can see, okay, kind of what happened here. And you can get a little idea of what happened right before it fell out. So you can see a second it penetrated this, right, went out, second it penetrates. So look, it came down, and if you're looking right above here, or if you look right here above us, so you can see the drop, right, and as soon as it hits right here, it bounced. Look at this, this is a bounce. So as soon as it hit right here, it bounced. So it went up. Even though this came down, the price action went up. Right, so you can see that, but the MACD line still was continuing down. It then kind of bounced up, and then it completely just took a tank, and this is where this fell out right here. Right, so it does find resistance right here, right at the peak, right at the point where it wants to fall out. See, look right here, here's before, here's after. This goes up, right, before and after. You see that there's a little bit of resistance that happens right here at the apex as it's about to fall out, right? It's almost like a fake out, like a head fake happens right here, right? Because this, look at this is clearly going down, right? The action of this is moving down right there, right? But this price action went up a little bit, right? Price action over here, same thing. The price action went up, even though there's nowhere in this do you see this turn up. There's just doesn't. This does not turn up, but you see that the price action came up while this continued in a downward motion. Now this gets really tricky because look at how far this fell down here. It fell all the way down to right here, right? Right at where we're at right now. So you see where this touches, it touches right in here, right? And then it bounced back up. There's no trail of this, Right? You don't see a trail of this. You just see this sloping action, and it then just continues to fall down. Right? And what we're doing is we're getting really close to this area. And what we can see is, we can see if we do come down here, we would expect the price action, if this comes down, a small bump in the price action followed by a fall, right? If we get down here. Now, the good news is that if we don't, and I'll show you where this happens, right? So here you go. Lower action came up, tried to get down. Now this could have wicked way down, but then just snapped up. Super bullish, right? Super bullish. Same thing if you come over here. Now here is this one right here. This is your lower of your J hook. Now this is a little tougher because is this one big J hook right here? You know, this could be one big hook. This kind of looks like two of them. Came down, circled up, and then just kept coming down and down. So this is a tougher one because this could be just one big hook. I gotta look deeper into this one right here. Okay, then here you have it. You have the same pattern plays out again right here. Right, let's take a look. Let's dig really deep into this one right here. Right, so look at this pattern. Here you go. Came down, tried, bounced right off of the resistance right here that was proposed, that was designated by this lower wick. Right, so this lower wick just came and then just mooned up. Now once it came back down and broke, it was bullish, right? So even if with a double bounce, even though this goes down, it still goes up, right? So with a double bounce, the price action goes up if it does this. And there's other areas that show that it does this, right? Here's one right here. Right, didn't break it. Here's your line right here. So here's your trend line, right? And then just moon. Never broke it, mooned. Right, so on and so forth. So it's a pretty good pattern, pretty good pattern. And you can go back and you should be able to find this pattern playing out multiple times in different timelines. Now this seems to be a more relevant theme as we're in this kind of area, because I don't know if this is, see, it doesn't really play out as much back here. You don't see these double taps as often. Here you go. You see one right here. Right? So there's one right there. Price action came back. And it's hard to play these because this is really difficult to play back here because this is 2017 third quarter. Things were crazy back then. But this is a more recent pattern. If you look at this more recent pattern and how this pattern plays out, all you have to do is just set your chart up like this and look for a bounce, right? And if this comes down and this bounces like this, right? And even if it goes like this, so what we're going to do is we're going to make this green, because a bounce here would be bullish, that we would expect the price action right? A bounce would equal bullish price action, right? This would need to fall like this. So this would need to penetrate through the line and open and close lower on this line right here, right? So for a bearish action, so for bear, So now this can play out pretty quickly, right? This can play out really, really fast. Okay, so this can play out super fast because this is going to play out over a 12. You're going to have a confirmation within a 12-hour time period once this line is penetrated here. So once this line gets penetrated, it's going to happen really quickly because if this line comes all the way down, the 12-hour candle closes. Then that is automatically locked into the lower position. It can then turn and bounce if it wants. It can angle just like this. It's going to make it crank like an elbow. So it'll make it a degree turn, but it'll be locked into that lower shadow at the 12-hour candle closing. So this is kind of what we'd be looking for. Now, with this, it does get really tricky because if you look back historically, one of the things that you need to look at historically is this is really tricky. So the trick here, the tricky part is all right, so the tricky part is, okay, there you go. The tricky part is that when this finds this support right here, right, you get a bounce in the price action. And then you get a dump, right? So we're going to bring this chart back up. Where are you at? Where are you at? Right? And we're going to show just like that right here, okay? So I'll make this bigger. I'm just going to scoot this down a little bit. Let's do this. We're going to move this over. All right, so there's your support line. Okay, so the tricky part is that we got to put these in here, so it's got to be yellow. Okay, and let's make that white. All right. And then for a bullish bounce, right, ignore the price action. So you need to ignore the price action. All you're watching is this MACD line, right? This is all that counts is the MACD line. So you're watching this MACD line for the confirmation, right? So any bounce before, so we're going to put a bounce before the support equals bullish price action. We're going to change this. Okay. So, pretty easy, right? This is pretty easy. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to be in trades, but as you can see, this is a really bad spot to be in a trade right now, right? This is a really horrible spot to be in a trade, and I would not be in a trade right now. I would just be waiting. Now, as long as you're above this line, you're bullish. right? So we can add that in there, right? So as long as you're above the line, you're bullish. So we can, let's do that. We'll make 1 point. So we'll say 1. Bullish, right? 2, we're going to say the MACD is bearish, right? So the MACD direction is bearish, right? And then 3, you should wait for confirmation here, right? This is a pretty simple. Now this is, you don't have that long to wait for confirmation, right? We're 5 hours into this candle, okay? Now if this candle closes and it's still bearish in the bearish direction, you're just going to have to wait for another one, right? So you have to wait for confirmation of the candle, and then this confirmation can come in 2 ways, right? This candle can bounce, right? Bounce up with a 12-hour closure, right? Or 2, it can break the lower support, right? And open new 12-hour. All right, so we're going to change this. Boom. Okay. There we go. And this is your trading setup. That's it. This is your trading setup. You're in a great place right now. You're in a horrible trading place, right? This is a horrible place to trade right here. Absolute horrible, right? Because here's the thing. If this thing takes off, this thing gets legs, right? When this takes off, this thing gets some really, really good legs on it. Okay, so that's all you have to do is just sit there and wait for the legs to take off, right? And 55, right? I mean, that's it. That's your whole trading setup right there, right? So even if this does come and this bounces up, all this next action, even though it falls out with a bounce here, you got a long way to trade. You got a lot of money you can still make on this. Okay, you don't have to go crazy, and this thing can come up. Remember, the price action can go up, but as long as this is facing in the southern direction, you guys got to remember this is a bearish direction, okay, but it is on the bullish side. So this is a really bad trade zone. All right, so I'm going to put this right here. This should be a no trade zone. I mean, you should literally just go and take a day off and not be in a trade at all right here, right? Because this is a really crummy trade zone. I mean, that's just a fact. This is just a really crummy trade zone. I don't think there's a lot of top side here. I think we have very limited top side. And what can happen is this thing can pull all the way back up, right, over these next 6 hours or whatever you got here. You got a long time to go till this candle closes. 7 hours. This candle can pull all the way, it can suck all the way back up, look like it's gonna, and then that would shoot, the price would shoot up here, right? And the price would go up, and then boom, this thing will just drop right back down on you like a hammer, right? So until you wait, until you see that elbow, wait for the elbow to appear, right? So for a bullish trade, we're gonna say bull trade. We're going to wait for the elbow north to appear. Okay. All right. And I'll do that one more time. There There you go.